Hi guys, Artiar here. So for this video is a Sieg R0 video showcase. I'll be showing how strong is he or what is he performing in R0. Alright, so even though I have his reso, I'll be keeping that for other video to make a comparison. But at least for now, I'll be only showcasing at R0. I have his max divinity though to make it on par with my other Esper in the team, because my other Esper in the team have the dividend as well. So if he don't have dividend, it's actually an unfair comparison. Okay, then I have him max skill up as well. He really need the skill up because he really need the S2 to cast as soon as possible to give everyone the Dragon Breath skill. Alright, so heads up or TLDR, is he good at R0? Yes, but he is not like meta good. A few reasons. First thing, he is an Umbra Esper. So Umbra Esper is actually weak against Shimmer, but is advantage against all elemental bosses or character as well. So in terms of Shimmer, right, what the first thing you think of, let's say in PvE content, the bosses, most of the bosses, they are actually ranked as a Shimmer element. So when the boss is actually Shimmer element, your Umbra Esper, which is going to be Sieg, is actually disadvantaged against Shimmer. So you have a 50% chance to miss rate against the boss, which means you have a 50% chance that you really don't do any damage to the boss because you actually miss. Miss means you cannot crit on the boss, you cannot apply the effect on the boss, such as if you want to try to apply the buff blocker on the boss, it will be disadvantaged, and that's most likely you're gonna miss the buff blocker. Even though the Golden Realm buff, like my video showed, the Echo Scar can be applied to the boss, which is consistent, but your damage here that can crit, right, there's a 50% chance for you to miss, so there's a 50% chance for you to not actually crit the damage on a boss at all. So this is one of the main reasons why people is talking Sieg is actually weak, is because when you bring into a PvE content and all the bosses they're actually ranked as a Shimmer rank, then Umbra instantly disadvantage against them. Okay, then the only option left for us for PvE is going to be the Dazzle bosses and Ritual bosses, because they are elemental bosses, so we can use Umbra Esper to have a element advantage against the boss. Okay, so now this video here, I'm gonna test him at the Shadow Stream. Why only I test him in Shadow Stream is because, let's say in Shadow Guild here, ignore the score because this is the bug score. Because in Shadow Guild here, we already have Meta Drew, Esper that can actually reduce the boss attribute, lower the boss defense. You can basically make the boss defense until like 0 as long as your Meta Drew keep casting S1. And then if we take a look at Shadow Glow here, Shadow Glow is a Shimmer boss, so your Umbra Esper, which is Sieg, is not going to be very effective against Shadow Glow. So the only two options now is going to be Shadow Fire and Shadow Trip. So the Shadow Fire I haven't tested yet, but so far this team here seems too solid to actually put a Sieg in. We have Unas, the AP push god, we have Valeria as the main DPS, we have Meta Ira as the supporter here, we have Champion as a supporter, we have Lu Shang as a god supporter, we have Zihe here, and for damage taken increase 50%. I don't think the 30% defense is going to outshine the Zihe, but we're going to test that. But at least for now, the most reliable source I think is going to be Shadow Stream. So Shadow Stream here, I would say after I tested his performance, he is not like meta strong, but is a usable unit. So if you don't have the meta unit like the team that I'm showing currently, probably you can put in Sieg here and it will help you. I feel like Sieg R0 is more towards the player who haven't reached like late end game, and then you don't really have a min-maxing team yet, then Sieg will help you by reducing the boss attack and defense. That is a very strong effect for the bosses, and also a very strong effect for the player who can't survive in the hard mode. Sieg can actually be a cheat code for you to survive from the boss, because it can reduce the boss attack 30% and then reduce the boss defense by 30%. But in a min-maxing team like me currently in the late end game here, everything here is about min-maxing, how you get more bonus turn and how many AP push you can do within one turn here. Then at that case, you don't really need the defense reduction, because if you can take like 5 more action, you can do a lot more damage compared to the reduced defense by 30%. So let me show you. So this is the usual team that I use in my Shadow bosses. So I'm going to blitz 5 times. I'm going to show you the average score I'm able to get with this team without Sieg. Alright, so this is how the average damage looks like on my current usual team. So sometimes you're gonna get some unlucky run because it's really based on how many relief set you proc on Unas, like champion, all these things. So sometimes you get a score like this, but most of the time you can still see there's actually a consistent damage here. But now if I switch to my Sieg team here, so this is the current Sieg team I'm running, it's basically same like my Lapis team, just switching out Alice into Sieg here. Why am I not taking Zihe out is because I think the Zihe damage taken 50% is more important. Okay, so now this is a Sieg team here, but then keep note you have to make your Sieg at the second left position to able to trigger this Dragon Breath effect, because in order to let all your ally have the Dragon Breath, he needs to deploy at the second leftmost position, which is at here. Alright, so with this turn here, now let's take a look at the blitz here. I'm gonna same thing, I'm gonna blitz 5 times and we take a look at the action. Alright, so this is how the blitz looks like at the Sieg team. So you can see, yes, I still get a kind of pretty high score compared with my Lapis team here, but on average it's actually lower than the the usual Lapis team I'm using, which is the Alice one, because most of the time you're getting the 7. Alright, it's like 6 here, we're gonna get it 6 here, and then sometimes you get a lucky proc with 10 here. So it's a little bit inconsistent and it's not really that high consistent damage and higher average compared to the usual team. But keep note, this is everything here is R06, and if we look at the damage on R06, it's actually not that bad. Okay, so if I instantly leave it, I just want to see the damage output. It's not that bad. So you can see R06, the damage output is already out DPS function as a supporter, because even though he's titled with support fighter, he's more likely you want to apply the golden buff on the golden debuff on the boss to let him have the 30% defend down. So that's more likely, and then every DPS here is bonus. Okay, but the reason why you put Sieg here, it can't help you boost your overall team damage, is because you only reduce the boss 30% defense, 30% attack. Your DPS is not enough to cover the loss of the other supporter expert. So let's say this team here, we are comparing with Alice, and then Alice here will give your team a lot more assists, a lot more AP push, because Alice S1 will also AP push and also assist. And then the damage will also affect this team more, because assist is very important for the team, like Unas here, champion here, and Lapis here will benefit from it, and then the AP push, they will also get benefit from it. So let's say we take Zihe down and we put Alice in. So we're gonna sacrifice our damage taken increase by 50% from Zihe, but we're gonna put in Alice here. And now let's take a look the damage output difference. Same thing, I'm gonna blitz 5 times. Right, so now we can see here the damage without Zihe actually reduced a lot. Okay, even though I put in the Alice here, without Zihe damage taken increased by 50%, is not going to work at, like, if you're trying to get high score. So Zihe you can't remove champion, because she's the buff queen of buff, damage taken queen, and then the king of AP push, your main DPS Lapis, function the one of the best supporter in the game with damage and support. And the only slot you can actually yoink out is Alice. So I would say that R06 is not going to help the player in late end game, but it will help the player who still can't solve the hard mode, because their team will get meltdown. The attack reduction from the golden realm buff here will help the player to clear their EX stage. Okay. So now with the same team comp that I showed now, I'm going to compare with Sieg R0 and Sieg R1. So now I'm not gonna make him to R2 first. So let's say I increase the damage to 50% from the Sieg, because normally it's 30%, so maximum you can trigger is only 300%, and now with the Rezo one, you are actually able to make him to 500%. Right, so 500% now. Let's see the damage output compared to the R0. So we're gonna still blitz it 5 times. I need some stamina. Alright, so now the R1 damage here, you can see now is a lot more consistent compared to the R01, because the damage increased by another 200%. So overall now the damage output is closer to the previous high score team. So I do I would say he have the potential when he have higher reso. When high reso, you get extra stats and whatever stuff, right? So let me give you my conclusion here. So if at R0, it will benefit more for the player who can't clear the hard mode yet, because it have the 30% attack to reduce the boss, so your team can survive, so you can clear the hard mode EX++ a lot more easier with R0 Sieg. But at a late end game player, when you have already a very strong team, and probably he is not a must, you can actually get replaced in the future. And R1, it can be on par with the current meta team that you're actually using. I'm not sure with R2 to R6 yet. Probably I have to test this on another account. But at least for now, it seems like he has the potential, but it's too much investment to him as an Umbra Esper that cannot be used in Falsetto Fantasy, and a very limited range because it's an Umbra Esper. So for now, I would say in PvE, his performance is not like meta changing good, but it's a choice for some player to actually reduce the boss attack, or probably in the future when there's actually a boss that deals a lot like high damage that can actually kill our team, then probably he will be strong at that part. But at least for now, a late end game player, I don't think it's actually worth that much of investment, because we can actually have other Esper to fit into the position. But he still have his own advantage, which is the Golden Realm buff, and then he is an Umbra Esper that can be used in a lot of the other content as long as the boss is not Shimmer, but most of the boss is Shimmer. Okay, so hope you guys enjoyed the video, and see you guys in the next one. Bye bye. Special thanks for the direct support on the YouTube membership. So for the benefactor of Artiar, which is GenMP, SPVCEJVMQ, Trendcan, thank you so much for your support. And also special thanks for the supporter or patron of Artiar, which is Louis Schneider, Agni, Wang Seimer, Ziggy, Kamaruki, Sunwaltz, Rimu, Choni, Antonio Winterspoon, Cragran, Calamity, Rocco Standions, Jordan Alons. Special thanks for your support. And also special thanks for the Super Thanks MVP, HMZ, RY, and X, Reeds. Thank you so much for your support. Special thanks for the direct support on the live stream super chat for the latest tag. Thank you so much for Code Wilderness, Calamity, Agni, Love Fatima, Fatima Little Underwear, Bloods, Riku Fred, Choni. Thank you so much for your support.